Hello and welcome. Today we're focusing on the critical red flags to watch for when you're interviewing potential pool builders, specifically concerning their financial practices and communication style. Understanding this early on can save you considerable trouble. So let's begin with a crucial area, how a pool contractor handles financial matters. This aspect often reveals a great deal about their overall business practices and reliability. So, financial red flags. First, be observant of requests for unusually large upfront deposits. While an initial deposit is standard, if a contractor requests more than 10 to 15% of the total project cost before work commences, it's a red flag. Reputable contractors typically operate with progressive payment schedules, where payments are tied to the completion of specific project milestones. A substantial upfront deposit can leave you financially vulnerable if the contractor fails to complete the project or abandons it. Next, consider significantly lower bids. While everyone appreciates value, if one contractor's quote is substantially lower than others you've received, perhaps by 15% or more, this demands thorough examination. An unusually low bid can indicate several potential issues. The contractor might intend to use substandard materials, cut corners on essential construction techniques, or even omit critical steps. Alternatively, some contractors bid low to secure the project, only to introduce unexpected costs later. If a bid seems too good to be true, it often is. Be alert to high-pressure sales tactics. If a contractor emphasizes today-only specials or offers steep discounts contingent upon immediate signing, this should raise a concern. Legitimate, high-quality pool builders are generally in demand and typically don't need to resort to such urgency tactics. A contractor who rushes you through the decision-making process may not be operating with full transparency. Finally, under financial considerations, examine problematic payment terms. Pay close attention to vague payment milestones, not clearly linked to specific completed work. Be cautious if a contractor requests payment for stages before they're actually finished. Avoid contractors who insist on cash-only payments. Furthermore, requests to make checks payable to an individual rather than the business name can be a significant concern, potentially indicating financial instability or an attempt to avoid responsibility. Communication and transparency issues. The interaction before an agreement is finalized can strongly suggest the nature of the future working relationship you can expect during the construction process. One of the most critical areas is vague or missing contract details. The contract is your primary legal protection. It must be comprehensive. Ensure it specifically outlines the exact materials to be used, including brands, models, and specifications. It should define a precise scope of work, leaving no room for verbal agreements. A clear construction timeline with specific milestones and a detailed payment schedule linked to completed work are also essential components. Next, observe any reluctance to provide references. A reputable contractor with a portfolio of successful projects will readily share references. You should aim to speak with clients whose projects were completed recently, within the past year, as well as those whose pools were built 2 to 5 years ago, which helps verify the durability of their work. Also, ask for references for projects similar in scope and features to your own. A contractor's inability or unwillingness to provide appropriate references, particularly in your local area, is a significant red flag. Pay attention to poor communication patterns from the outset. Consider their responsiveness during the bidding process. Delayed or inconsistent communication before a contract is signed typically deteriorates further once the project is underway. Note if they seem evasive when asked direct questions or provide vague responses. Also, be cautious if they are unwilling to put promises or clarifications in writing, or if they exhibit a dismissive attitude towards your concerns or questions. Lastly, for this initial stage, be alert for missing or problematic documentation. Even during preliminary discussions, a professional contractor should be able to provide a certificate of insurance demonstrating adequate coverage, detailed written estimates, and clear specification sheets. They should also be knowledgeable about necessary building permits and be able to provide examples of manufacturer warranties for equipment and materials. Hesitancy or inability to produce such documentation can suggest a lack of professionalism or legitimacy. These are several key areas to focus on during your initial interactions with potential pool builders. Diligence regarding financial practices and communication standards is paramount. To summarize, we've discussed the importance of scrutinizing upfront deposits, bid comparisons, sales tactics, payment terms, contract clarity, references, communication habits, and essential documentation. However, your due diligence doesn't end here. In the second part of this discussion, we will explore warning signs related to the contractor's actual work processes, critical elements within contracts and warranties, and importantly, the actions you can take if you identify any of these red flags. I encourage you to join me for that. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.